Jamie sighed as she glanced across her desk at the picture of her beloved Bradley, reminding herself why she was sat at her desk in the dead of night. Well, 11 p.m, in front of a spirit board, attempting to contact a ghost. Yes, a ghost. Bradley was everything she'd ever dreamed of. He was perfect, all except for one little detail. His girlfriend. His ghost girlfriend. Jamie could hardly believe when Bradley excitedly pulled his bag onto her bed and threw a spirit board in her direction, or when he babbled on about his dead girlfriend. He'd confided in her that he was having problems with his girlfriend, who was jealous of his friendship with Jamie. And Jamie, being a good and slightly devious friend she was, had agreed to speak with her to reassure her. At first, she just assumed she'd never met his girlfriend because she went to a university in another area, or that she'd already graduated and was working, but no, as it turns out, she was dead, apparently. The whole thing felt like a prank. But just in case it wasn't, Jamie decided to go along with it. She realised that she had a great opportunity. She could simply tell Bradley that his ghost girlfriend was breaking up with him for good, and then she would have him all to herself. She was certain it was a flawless plan. But now, as she sat before the spirit board, she felt nervous. She knew that she shouldn't be alone. But Jamie didn't have anyone else she could have invited along. Attempting to contact spirits wasn't the top of the to-do list for her small circle of friends, and so she did her best to fight past her nerves. Took a deep breath before opening her eyes. Everything was as she left it before. The unlit candle on her left, a notepad and pencil on her right, and the spirit board looming in front of her. She took another breath, looking around at the well-lit room, trying to force herself to laugh at her own paranoia. She had yet to summon anything, or approach anything, and even when she would later try, there was no promises that any of it would work. She lit the candle exactly as she'd seen in the YouTube tutorial. They make those for everything, you know. And she took another breath. Is anyone here? There was silence. Jamie kept her eyes focused on the spirit board as the coolness of the room edged down her spine. With every second, she was convinced that the whole story had been a prank. Bradley seemed relatively well adjusted. There was no way that he could believe that, well, his girlfriend was a ghost. After what felt like hours, but was only in fact a few moments, Jamie finally laughed at herself and blew out the candle. It had to be a prank. It just had to be. She packed the spirit board in its box and left it outside Bradley's room before heading to bed and hoping that she would dream of something a little less strange. But then, she awoke. She awoke early, when the darkness still lay outside, to see a single candle lit on her desk. She was positive that she'd extinguished it before taking the board back to Bradley, but as she stood and examined the candle, she noticed the board was open on her desk. She tore her eyes from the scene, her body submerged in icy fear, and saw that her door was still locked as she had left it. And as she turned to the board, she couldn't understand how it had appeared, unless, of course, Bradley had been telling the truth. She watched in silent horror as the board spelled out a single word. Sit. She fell onto the waiting chair, desperately wanting to run, but unable to move an inch. She thought about praying, but she wouldn't know how to explain the situation or what kind of help she should ask for. Her eyes followed the glass across the board as it continued to move. Stay away. She nodded, unable to say a word, and hoped that the spirit would understand that she had won, because no man was worth this. As she tried to find the strength to speak, she could see the spirit continue, and after taking a few seconds to figure out the words, she wished that she hadn't. "You will die." There was a knock at the door, but she didn't dare move. The candle flickered as the glass continued across the board, and while she recognized Bradley's voice from the other side of the door, his words didn't register in her mind as it was too full of the spirit and what she had to say. "He will kill you, like he killed me."